Hello, I'm Jessica Hausner. The initial idea of the script was to write a story about a female Frankenstein. I wanted to have a scientist in the story who creates a monster, something that gets out of her control. But the specific point of view maybe is that this scientist, she creates another monster, which is her child. So the child also escapes out of her control. And that's a situation that I was interested in, that female main character. She's a scientist, but also a mother. How can she be both, and for which child will she decide? Yes, I think throughout the years or throughout the development of my films, I tried to create a more and more surrealist style. I work together with the same cinematographer, also the DOP, Martin Schlacht. He has worked on all my films. Also the costume designer, Tanja Hausner, and the set designer, Katharina Wöppermann. So together we build up that world of its own, which is very artificial. As you mentioned, the colors are strange and bright. Also the camera movements make you feel that it's all set up.
Yeah, really, it's not like any of the films.
Yes, yeah. I like to do that because I want to make films that are artificial and that don't pretend that everything is so real. Because like what we said before, that is what the film is about. It questions reality. And so that is also why I think that sort of artificial style promotes that idea. The composer of the music is a Japanese composer, Teiji Ito, and he was also composing the music for some of the films of Maya Deren. She was an experimental filmmaker in the 1940s in the US. He made the music for some of her short experimental films. I love those films a lot. I feel very much related. Maya Deren is a director. She creates a very surrealist world only through the position of the camera and the edit. Yeah. There are no visual effects or anything. She does it in a very purely cinematographic way, which is sort of related to my films. I think that's a bit similar. And I sort of felt that if I could use the same music, or like the music of the same composer, that also like creates a sort of very strange atmosphere in my film that has a surrealist moment, even a slightly awkward and uncomfortable moment. The music is really a character of its own. And I like this confusion that it creates. You think you're in a horror film, but maybe the music is slightly too awkward to be a real horror film. So you, as an audience, you feel that insecurity. What shall I think of it? What will this film, where will it take me? And that is what I like. Yes, that was the initial idea. Films like Body Snatcher, there are different versions of it, Little Shop of Horror or The Thing. So you have different, it's a whole group of films that have that paranoid idea that someone has been changed and you don't know if that other person has become an alien, a zombie or whatever. And I like those films a lot, but I have to admit that I was always liking the first half of those films, because there you have those scenes when someone says, oh, this is not my husband anymore, and then you see the husband is totally normal and you think the other person is the crazy one.
That's the deep horror.
That's a deep horror, I exactly agree. Whereas when you have those seed pods from outer space arriving, I'm not so interested anymore in those films. So I thought I would like to make a film where we keep that tension, that sort of suspense. The big question mark, has this other person whom I thought I know well, has he been changed? Or am I just crazy? I tell you what, I don't really know. I have only been to China once. I've been to Macau. I mean, I would be very curious to talk to Chinese people. I mean, I did now to you. But so that's why I would be happy if my film would be released in China, because that's, I think, an interesting experience. to see how it works, how the people react, what are the differences, what do they see in the film.